are Gaia's Greens. I'm Emily.
I'm Alex.
I'm Reed.
I'm Garrett. I'm Dominic.
Alright, so some of the goals that we had for our plot right here was to, by mid-September, have all of our plants either seeded in the ground or seeded in trays in the greenhouse over there. And then also was that by the end of September to have all of our transplants that were in the trays in the greenhouse planted in ground, which we were able to accomplish. We also wanted to make use of intercropping, which can be seen here with the lettuce and the alyssum. We intercropped the alyssum between every two lettuce. And then on top of that, throughout the use of cover crops and intercropping, we were able to use no pesticides at all on this plot.
For the design of our incubator farm, we used an array of intercropping techniques as well as beneficial crops to attract pollinators. So for our lettuce, we intercropped with alyssum, which is the host plant for hoverflies. They lay their eggs on the alyssum, and then the larvae eat aphids, which is a common pest for lettuce. We also used rosemary and garlic chives at the end of our rows of beets, and these herbs emit aromas that repel pests. And in addition, on our barrier rows, we used marigolds and dill to attract pollinators. We also had a row of sunflowers and a beneficial pollinator mix, as well as buckwheat, which all attract pollinators. And finally, for our rows of broccoli, we intercropped them with onions, which is supposed to make the flavor of broccoli more tasty, and also the onions can repel pests with their aroma.
We were able to incorporate holistic management into our incubator farm when we intercropped. This allowed us to not use any pesticides. We were also able to reduce erosion by applying hay after we used manure and compost, and it also reduced nutrient runoff. We also used sun hemp around the perimeter of our plot to allow nitrogen fixing for future seasons. And the intercropping also allowed for increased biodiversity on our plot.
So the main challenge of our plot was mainly due to our location. We encountered a lack of overhead irrigation and an unusual number of weeds. We also encountered a problem due to the runoff from the road. So to counter that, we used sun hemp on this edge of the plot to catch the runoff from the road. To counter the lack of overhead irrigation, we supplemented with a watering schedule split between all the members of our group.
All right, as far as the management of our plot, we had a water schedule set up where every day of the week, one of us would come and water the crops. That was in addition to an overhead sprinkler system, the rain that we got, and the drip irrigation that's put into place. As far as weed management, which was one of the biggest challenges when it came to management, we used some barrier crops. We also, once a week, we did some intensive hand pulling of the weeds. We also laid a thick layer of straw mulch to help with the suppression of weeds. Also, as far as nutrients and feeding the crops, we used a mixture of compost, vermicompost, as well as plant compost. We also supplemented that with an organic fertilizer.
I'd say the biggest lesson we learned from our incubator farm is that hay is definitely not the best technique to suppress weeds. In the future, we would definitely use mulching or sheet mulching in addition to hay to keep the weeds at bay in our plot. And for future sustainability, we would increase our use of cover crops and also use a system of crop rotation that we would implement.